Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to SKR Season 5. And tonight, we're driving in Las Vegas for round 7. We have 20 drivers in the field today. Remember, just the short qualifying session. So 18 minutes for everybody to get out there. 20 cars need to do their lap times in just 18 minutes. This is the newest addition to the F1 calendar. Newest addition to the US calendar. They're up to 3 circuits now. Of course, this circuit is the second longest circuit on the F1 calendar. Second only to Spa. Had an interesting race here on Friday night, I think it was. We're on lap 7. We were still awaiting our first racing lap, and we were entering our third safety car. But that wasn't with 20 drivers in the field, so I do expect to see some action. A lot of people have compared the circuit to Baku. I see a few resemblances, but the circuit definitely does have its own character. Seem to run out of gears on that back straight. We'll ride here with Fricky, give you an idea of what this layout looks like. Now you can see the sphere on the left hand side. Quite an interesting project, that sphere. There it is again. $2.4 billion. The construction of that sphere, with over 1 million individual LED screens. And here we go down the Vegas Strip. Unfortunately, if you're looking for the iconic names on these hotels, you're going to miss a few. If you're wondering where Caesars is, it's there. It's just not called Caesars. Apparently licensing everything would be a little too expensive. And what a fantastic final corner. If you even call it a final corner, it just goes flat right through. And Virus goes P2. Well, that's the second lap time of the evening. Revolution, Ulrich, time's now starting to come in. Next one over the line will be Top Gun. Let's see where he puts the car up into P4, 134.9. We have one of the Red Bull drivers. Obviously very far in front in the Constructors' Championship. The Red Bull team. 306 points between the two Red Bull drivers. Madwell just getting a little out of shape there, looking for traction. And now into that final corner. And over the line into P2. Just slotted in just behind his teammate. So we have a Red Bull 1-2. Good evening to Death Queen in the comment section. Always nice to have the regulars coming back every week. And if you have just joined us, we have a Red Bull 1-2 up at the front. 132.3, 132.4, nothing in between the teammates there. Ultra Gamer P3. Visor has since been demoted to P4. Virus, sorry. Then we have Visor in P5. Ulrich P6. Louis has gone P7. Then we have Venom in P8. Top Gun P9. Chums P10. Revolution 11th. Fricky still looking for his first proper timed lap. I think he gave up on that last one. And there we go. Good enough to go just ahead of his teammate, but only just. Actually misses his braking point into turn 1, or he was letting someone go. I think he just missed his braking point. Here we have Apmagozi in the Alpha Tauri, a team soon to be renamed next year. Still waiting for that name. Top suggestions do say that it's either going to have Hugo Boss in its name, or the stronger rumor, it's going to have Adidas in its name. We ride with Venom in the Alpine. He's got that 133.2 on his first run. It was good enough for 8th place. Pantry Star on an outlap. I think this is a new driver. I'm not familiar with the name unless somebody's changed their name. That's a Ferrari. I believe it's Disguise. We'll go with Disguise. He has not set a lap time. He's come back into the pits. Obviously gave up on that. Dixie Killer, no lap time. Harshcar 2, no lap time. Akmagozi, no lap time. All of those drivers still looking for their first run. It's going to be a difficult racetrack to start from the back. But as we saw in the Las Vegas Grand Prix earlier this morning, with the likes of Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, you can come through this field pretty quickly with a safety car or two. Like I say, on Friday night we had a race here in Vegas where we actually ran up to the maximum amount of safety cars, which I believe is 5, before half distance of the race. It can be tricky. Remember, many of the tracks on the F1 calendar, they've been there for a long time. Guys have been doing these layouts for a long time, if not on this game, on many games previous. And I'm sure all the guys have been practicing Vegas, but it's not going to be as imprinted in the mind as some of the more iconic circuits like Monza and Imola. So you can expect little mistakes in this race. But if there are mistakes in this race, I don't expect there'll be too many. We've had some brilliant driving so far this season, and may that continue tonight. This is Pantry Star. He's out on track looking for his first timed lap of the evening, as is Akmagozi, also out on track looking for that first lap time. Harsh Cartoon looking for his first lap time. He's just left the pits. Dixie Killer and Disguise, no lap time from those two drivers. and they remain in the pit garage for the time being. We will ride with Pantry Star as he goes into the closing stages of his lap. See what he can come up with. No lap time as of yet. It's good enough for P6. 133.0. Still 7/10 of a second. More like 6.5 tenths. Away from where he'd like to be if he wants to get himself up onto the front row. We're going to ride with Andre, but he's clearly backed out of that. We'll go with his teammate instead. Here's Louis. Current best, a 133.9. It's good enough for 12th place on the grid. I think that's exactly where you don't want to start. You want to start in the front, you want to start in the back. Starting in the middle could get messy. Two outcomes could come from it getting messy. You could be the lucky car that gets through the mess, or you could be part of the mess. It's going to get a bit of slipstream here. This will definitely help. Look, the car topping out at 354 kilometers an hour. We actually saw similar speeds in Qatar just about half an hour ago in the MotoGP race. 350 down the back straight. Now Louis into the final corner. Let's see, does he improve? Yes, he does, but it's a 133.4, and it's only going to take him up into P11. We'll ride with Harsh Cartoon. He's looking for that first lap time. He is in the second of the two Alpines. His teammate up in 10th place. That's Venom, a 133.2. Harsh Cartoon sets his first lap time. It's a 134 flat, and it's good enough for P13. Virus was able to improve. He's put himself at the front of the second row, 132.4. So close to that front row. Still just over 5 minutes remaining. You can get around this circuit pretty quickly, so I think if you've got the tyre set, you can still get around, have another go. Just an incredible race circuit. 5.2 kilometers, or 5.3 kilometers, I forget. It's a brand new race circuit, forgive me. It's either 5.2 or 5.3, but nonetheless, you're getting around 5.2 kilometers in a minute and a half. Now that is insane. At the front row and the second row, that's Afro Madwell, Virus, Ultra Gamer. All four of those drivers remain in the pits. This is Venom, currently in P8. Seems like he's out of battery, probably on his way back to the pits. We get on board with Andre just in time to see him improve. It's a 132.7 for the McLaren driver. He goes up into the top 6 as his teammate is being wheeled into the pits. Top Gun, second of the two Aston Martins. It's in P13 currently with a 133.4. Just 4/10 of a second away from his teammate. See a few people now joining the stream. Thanks for joining. If you've just joined us, 3.5 minutes remaining in quali, and we have a Red Bull 1-2. Top 5 all remain in the pits, 3.5 minutes remaining. I think we're going to have a very busy racetrack in the very closing stages of the session. So many cars in the pits. Cars out on track are Andre, Visor, Chums, Revolution, Dixie Killer still looking for that first lap time, and Nap Magozi also still looking for that first lap time. This is Andre, currently in P6, 132.7. Top McLaren driver on the night. And he's coming into the pits. Ulrich's on an outlap. Gonna get a very busy racetrack. The Red Bulls leaving it right to the end. Are they gonna come out? They don't have that much of a buffer. Virus just a few hundredths away from the front row. And as I say that, both Red Bulls have now emerged from the pits, and look at this. Lots of cars on the race circuit. Really got to position yourself well. Commit to what you're doing. Find yourself a space that you're happy with. Because if you run into traffic on your final lap, at least half of it, at least half of that blame's got to go on you. Really got to manage the space. Make sure you don't run into anyone. Get as much free air as possible for that final run. Here we have provisional pole sitter, Afro. 132.3, lets the Ferrari go by. And there we go. I think there's definitely a plan here. The two Red Bulls, let's keep an eye on them. They're going to go over the line very close together, and they're going to go on their final run. I'm sure there's going to be slipstream DRS, a little bit of everything. But they can't afford to mess around too much. As we said, Virus, if he's able to find a 10th, it's good enough for P1. So that both of those Red Bull cars will be looking to improve. They can't sit comfortably on that time. There's nothing comfortable about it. We have Virus, a 132.4. It's entering into Sector 2. Checkered flag has fallen, and it's already over for a few of the drivers. Andre, Visor, Top Gun, Chums, Harsh Cartoon, Magozi, and Disguise. That is the end of the session for them. Virus goes fastest in Sector 2. Now remember, the Red Bulls will be behind the Mercedes. So if he does take pole, he needs to hold his breath. Goes around the final corner, does take pole, 132.1. And it's by a bigger margin than I expected. But now we've got the Red Bulls. Afro going fastest in Sector 2. Hopefully they don't run too close. But they don't. They stay out of each other's way. And now around the final corner, we're going to get the pair of Red Bulls. Can they retake the front row? Yes, they do. 131.4 for Madwell, 131.6 for Afro. And your front row seems to be decided. Where is Ultra Gamer? He's going to go over the line any second now. Does he improve? I think I've got my bearings wrong. There's too many straights on this track. Now he's going to go over the line. And we don't know if he improved because that cut off just in time. Looks like he stayed P5. So there you have your official qualifying results. Got to get through them quickly. There's 20. Madwell takes pole position. Afro his teammate P2. It's a Red Bull front row. Then Virus P3 in 4th place. Divan, Ultra Gamer P5, Andre P6, Ulrich P7, Fricky P8, Louis in P9, and Pantry Star making up the top 10. On the other side of the top 10, we have Venom in P11, Visor P12, Top Gun 13, Chums 14, Harsh Cartoon 15, Pixie Killer 16, Revolution 17, Apmagozi 18, and then no lap times for Disguise and Mr. M in P19 and P20. There we go. If you have just joined us, you have just missed a fantastic quali session. And now we're heading off into our round 7 event, 25 laps around the streets of Las Vegas. Remember, here at SKR, we have the mandatory break in between the race and qualifying. So it's going to be a 5-minute break for everybody just to get their strategy settled. And maybe just their nerves. While they're taking a 5-minute break, I'll be taking a 2-minute break. I'll be back. Stay with us. And there we go. We're back. See, this is SKR Season 5, Round 7. Las Vegas circuit, which I believe this morning proved to be a lot more exciting than most people expected. And not to bring it up again, but the race I saw on Friday, if it's anything like that, with the additional factor that we have a full grid, it'll be pandemonium up and down this field. So hopefully we get a clean lap 1. For those of you who have joined us on the stream, or if you're watching this later on in the week, remember to leave a like on the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. We're trying to get ourselves up to 100 subscribers. Still a little far from that, but gaining a few every week. We will be underway at 20:47, so in approximately 1 minute. Some messages of encouragement coming through on the Discord chat. Guys encouraging each other to take it easy into turn one. This could be an interesting one. And there we go. We will be underway. Red Bull versus Red Bull. Just had a slight ghost moment there. Got a fright, but everything seems to be underway. Madwell leads into turn one. Both Red Bulls through turn one. Seems like everyone through turn one pretty nicely. We have an Alpine running off into the distance. That is Venom. Venom on lap one. There we go. He's already having a bit of a recovery because it seems like Dixie Killer, Pantry Star and Mr. M had problems of their own up front. Red Bull, Haas. That is your top three. It's just really great to see most of the cars getting through turn one without any major damage. Remember, this is a field of 20 drivers around a relatively new racetrack. Yes, all these drivers have done practice. They've probably even done races around here multiple times. But this is still going to be a track that isn't as imprinted on their mind. There we go. Now the Red Bulls changing positions. Yes, they do. Madwell into P2, Afro into the lead. It'll be interesting to see what is the long-term plan for these two Red Bulls. Let's bring up your tyre screen so we can have a better idea of who's doing what. The two Red Bulls in front obviously having the confidence that they have the superior pace. They're starting this race on hards and they're the only two drivers in the top 8 to start on hards. We have a 5-second penalty for Virus. That was obviously him coming into the pit lane to repair some damage. And I think the speed limiter line probably just snuck up on him. It's a bit of a tricky one at this track. Madwell leads the way. Afro right behind him. These two Red Bulls just switching positions. Number 3, number 41. P1 and P2. Ultra Gamer, he's in P3 and coming under pressure from a Ferrari. That's Divan in P4. Divan's got the mediums, the Haas has got the softs. Ultra Gamer should have the advantage, at least for now, in the opening stages of the race. Should have the superior compound, but he's not able to stay with the Red Bulls. And I do suspect that's exactly why he started on the soft. In hope of holding on to those Red Bulls a little longer. If you have this sort of pace, I think starting on the hards is the best strategy. The only problem is, if a safety car does come out and cancel out that amazing gap you've built, it really just neutralizes everything again. So the leaders will be hoping for the cleanest race possible, because as things stand, Ultra Gamer 2.5 seconds away from your leaders. Haas still under heavy pressure from Ferrari, from Divan. Then we've got Ulrich in P5. That's 3 Ferrari motors in 3 different cars. Haas leads from Ferrari, leads from Alfa Romeo. Then we have the first of the 2 Mercedes-Benz, Fricky in P6. 2 McLarens running line astern, P7, P8. That's Andre and Louis. Then the first of the 2 Aston Martins, that's Top Gun in P9. Chums for Williams, P10, Visor, P11, Harsh Cartoon, P12. Two AlphaTauris, Revolution, Atmagosi, P13 and 14. Then we have Dixie Killer, Pantry Star, Mr. Rem, Venom and Virus making up the field. At the front, either Madwell is getting away from Afro or these two have decided not to fight. Let's get as far up the road as we possibly can. And maybe we can have a bit of fun later. But the more these two battle, they'll allow third place to stay with them a little longer. I was going to say Ultra Gamer, but that position has changed in the Ferrari up into P3. Divan in P3 for Ferrari. He'll be looking at this result and say, I'll take that. Race could end right now on lap 4. I'd be happy with it. Divan so far just the 1 point in the championship so far. So this would be his best performance. And now he gets retaken by Ultra Gamer. But I think he'll be quite confident because he'll know that horse in front of him. He's got soft tyres on, and those softs will fall off eventually. And the track will come to the medium runners. If you're listening and wondering what's wrong with my voice, I am a little sick, so I do apologize. Gonna do my best. Hopefully I don't sound too bad. Fight for P3 between Ultra Gamer and Divan. Still a very active fight. Ulrich in P5. Two McLarens now leading a DRS train. Louis and Andre P6, P7, and they have Fricky and Top Gun right behind them waiting to pounce. Hey Pompun, how's it going? Welcome to SKR, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I got the flu. So my voice is a little not quite there. Now the McLaren switch places. Andre goes up ahead of Louis. Ulrich P5, Ultra Gamer P4. Now that Ferrari will be looking to keep that position. Stay in P3. Shake off that horse. These two at the front, well, they're not going to get that much broadcast time. Because they're out there all on their own. Good job so far by all of the drivers in the field, really. We just have the one DNF that was disguised. That was the Ferrari driver. Everybody else still driving around on lap 6 of 25. No major incidents that we've seen anyway. Zach Magosi in the AlphaTauri. Which, if rumours are to be believed, they are going to get a car next season that is, let's just say, extremely similar to what we know as the RB19. Speaking of Red Bull teams, this is the senior team. And they're showing why they're the senior team. P1, P2. They're that way in the championship as well. P1, P2. And they lead the Constructors' Championship. Complete dominance on a Sunday night in SKR. Ultra Gamer has come into the pits. Ooh, and unfortunately for him, guys really need to pay attention. If you're listening to the stream, guys, pay attention. If you haven't practiced that pit entry, the line does sneak up on you. Ultra Gamer came into the pits. Obviously those softs starting to fall off. Maybe thought he'd cover Divan. But on the way into the pits, picks up a penalty. And that is not going to be of any help to him. But here we go, safety car on lap 7 of 25. Pampun talking about safety car, so why not? Charles Leclerc was unlucky in today's race. Well, I don't know. Charles Leclerc, I think he just needs that. He needs that little extra. Something's missing. The man's taken, 25, 26 pole positions. And just the 5 race victories. And if you want to know a stat Leclerc really wouldn't want to hear, is that Max Verstappen has taken more victories from Charles Leclerc pole positions than Charles Leclerc has taken from Charles Leclerc pole positions. Could also say that Perez got a bit unlucky there at the end. Obviously in the last Grand Prix lost it right on the line to Alonso. And then towards the end of the Vegas Grand Prix really looked like he was going to take P2, make it a Red Bull 1-2. But Leclerc ruining the Red Bull party. Obviously that 3rd place did ensure a 1-2 in the championship for Red Bull. And that is their first 1-2 in their history. So they continue to break records in this 2023 season. Fastest lap of the race so far, that's Madwell, a 1:34.8. Fastest lap of the race we saw earlier this morning in the Las Vegas Grand Prix, that actually went to Oscar, I think it went to Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri. Fastest lap, that was a 1:35.4. So these guys are really lapping a little quicker than the real thing. Lap 9 of 25 and we're still under safety car. Field is still pretty spread out. So we might get one more lap of this. Hopefully everyone can catch up to this queue. To get around here pretty quickly. Some predictions coming in there from Pampun. Backing the Alfa Romeo of Ulrich in P5. Having a look at Ulrich's strategy, he's on a set of hards. A brand new set of hards on lap 9 of 25, and if the data plays out like it did this morning, should be able to finish the race on that set. He will have a tyre advantage over everybody in front of him. Chums and Divan on aging tyres. And then Afro and Madwell both on a set of mediums. So surely those mediums will fall off before they do for Ulrich. We could have an interesting end to this race. Of course, a safety car at the end of the race could change everything. Still waiting for an AlphaTauri that is lagging at the back of the field there, at the just in the center now of sector 2, and we haven't got any sort of confirmation, so the safety car will be staying out for one more lap. This is going to help everybody that's on the softer tire or even on the medium tire. Just let you take that tire a little bit longer, extend its life a little bit more, take you further on into the race. And obviously for the drivers on hards who are looking to stretch this right to the end, every lap under the safety car gives them less work to do on tire management. I'm certain the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. While we're under safety car, we must say here at SKR that we're thankful to all our sponsors. One of those sponsors, G4 Sim. Rev up your racing experience with G4 Sim, offering gaming seats and an immersive journey. SKR members enjoy a 5% discount on all racing rigs. Visit g4sim.com and buckle up for the ride. Speaking of buckling up for the ride, we should be underway shortly. Do we call it the second stint in this race? Quite interesting that the two Red Bulls were on relatively new hards. They chose to pit under safety car, put on a set of mediums. Divan, who was in a strong position, I believe he was in P3, he chose not to pit, and he has chosen to stay out on what is a set of mediums, 9 laps old. So I don't know how many laps he's going to get on those mediums at the restart. But he's going to have two Red Bulls all over his mirrors. And there we go, we're at the restart. Good start from the Ferrari driver. Gets the jump on Madwell. Let's just get the timing screen right again. There we go. Half a second is the gap between the top two. Then we've got Chums in P3. He's coming under immediate pressure from a Red Bull. That's Afro in P4. Doesn't want to waste any time, wants to get himself back into that top 3. Then we've got Ulrich P5. He's in a strong position in this race. Remember, new set of hard tyres. Probably won't pit again. But Fricky and Louis P7 and P8 on brand new softs. They will definitely be pitting again in this race. Maybe hoping for a later safety car. And already, I said he was going to come under pressure in the early stages of the race. Divan has lost that lead. Both Red Bulls through now, 1 and 2, as things were before. Chums has also come through on the Ferrari driver. And we have a Red Bull Williams top 3. Just have a look at the Ferrari driver. Is the car ghosting at all? Don't see any ghosting, don't see any damage, but something's gone very wrong there off screen. We didn't see it. But Divan down into P18, and I'm almost certain we'll see him dive into the pits at the end of this lap. Get rid of those mediums, go on to hards. Try to finish the race and hope for a safety car to mix up the order. But he doesn't pit. Or does he pit? There we go. He goes to the inside. He does pit. As do quite a few cars in front of him. A whole handful of cars pitting. It's going to be a busy pit lane now. 4 cars coming into the pits. One after the other. At the front, Madwell leads from Afro. Fricky in the Mercedes, he's gotten past Chums. Chums was briefly in P3. Now Fricky has taken that position. Mercedes-Benz up into P3. Fricky currently 8th in the championship, sitting on 55 points. This would be a good result for him. Down to 18 drivers from the 20 that started. Revolution and Disguise. They are no longer in this race. It's an AlphaTauri and a Ferrari. Two of the 4 Italian cars on track are out of this race. Of course, Ferrari and AlphaTauri, the only 2 Italian teams on the grid. And if you're wondering why AlphaTauri is in Italy of all places, it's because that team used to be Minardi. An Italian team with a long history. And as they were about to fall out of Formula One for financial reasons, Red Bull decided, why not buy a second team? Madwell, P1, Afro, P2, no change. Fricky still in P3, but for how long? He's in P3, but he's on a set of soft, so he's almost definitely going to have to stop again. Andre P4, Ultra Gamer P5. I wonder how many of the guys in the field here, they're just hoping for another safety car. Afro sets the fastest lap of the race. That's the man in P2. Further back in the field, we've got the Aston Martins really having a go at each other. Pantry Star and Top Gun switching places, going wheel to wheel. It's always fun to see action between teammates. I just don't want to see the action get out of hand. It's probably the worst feeling when you hit someone on track. You already feel bad. But when you look up and see the same livery as yours, it just stings that much more. So the first rule of racing is beat your teammate Second rule, definitely don't hit your teammate. Maybe that should be the other way around. Two Aston Martins having a bit of fun down the strip in Vegas. And that's unrealistic. We've got some people there on the bridge looking at the Grand Prix. That's not allowed. You don't have a ticket, sir. Red Bull P1 and 2 still Afro Madwell. And they've just switched positions. Madwell now the leader. How long will that be the case? Sapmagosi has now left the session. And he'll be disappointed. He was in a good position. Sapmagosi, he was in a good position. He was up into P10, but now that car ghosting. And it will surely fall down the field in a relatively quick time. Hopefully he can get back in his car as soon as possible, but he's already lost the position to Mr. M. He will fall down the field pretty quickly. Afro now with the DRS, he's chasing down his teammate. Will he get past? Yes, he does. There's not too much fighting. These two just having a bit of fun. Just making it look easy, really. So far ahead and they're still just fooling around. Switching positions and having all sorts of fun. If I was the team manager at this stage, I'd be telling them keep the car in a straight line and stop messing about. Would have used another word, but this is the SKR comms box and I can't say everything that comes to mind. And now we have a McLaren up into P3. Fricky now starting to fall down the order. If you remember in the very first stint of the race, I think it was Divan. He had a set of softs. No, it wasn't Divan. Can't remember who it was. It was somebody up in the top 3. He had a set of softs, and once that set of softs got to about lap 9 or 10, it really started to drop off the pace. That was Ultra Gamer, I believe it was. Ultra Gamer, he started on the softs. Now we've got a retirement safety car. Harsh Cartoon is out of the race. And that has triggered a safety car on lap 16 of 25. And what does this do to everybody's strategy? Lap 16 of 25, that means there's 9 laps to go. A few of those laps are going to be under safety car, so when we get going, there will probably be 7 laps to go. So surely now the 2 Red Bulls will come into the pits and put on a set of softs, I imagine. There we go, set of softs for the first Red Bull. Slight delay for the second Red Bull, but he won't mind. They're going to come out in safety car conditions. And soft tyres for both Red Bulls. Now we have Andre. Surely a set of softs for him as well. There we go, set of softs. It's going to be even Stevens sprint race to the end. Ultra Gamer. He was briefly promoted into P3, then he came into the pits himself. He's going on to a set of mediums. Wonder if he doesn't have softs left. Top Gun leaves the pits. Pantry Star, there's a traffic jam. I think every team doing a double stack. Guys getting rid of their 5-second penalties that they got on their last pit entry. And a lot of the field now, they're on softs. with what I say, when this race gets going again, I think probably 7 laps remaining, with most of the field on softs. I think it's going to be an interesting sprint to the end. If you're at Magosi, you're not in your car right now, but when you do get back in your car, you might not be too impressed with your AI. The AI car did not put under safety car and somehow is in 10th place with some very aging tyres. So that car will continue to fall down the field now, as it is also low on grip. We saw earlier on in the race, 2 Red Bulls were the only 2 cars on hards, and they were able to easily stay in front of the competitors. But now with the top 4, Mad Bull, Afro, Andre and Fricky all on softs, we could have an interesting end here, because there'll be no real tyre management needed. Just a short distance to the end. Safety car will have 1 more lap. I believe this will be the final lap under safety car. The cars are currently in sector 1 and everyone is nicely compressed into the queue again, so I think we will see confirmation that the safety car will come in this lap. Another company that has partnered with SKR. Got to thank our sponsor at Works Group South Africa. Works Group South Africa is an innovator in the garment industry. The rich history in textile solutions they can provide. You can discover more about Works Group SA at worksgroup.co.za. for all your garment needs. Any branding, any embroidery, that's who you want to speak to. And of course, Works Group South Africa also responsible for the SA FRL caps. So we've got to say thank you to them. We will be underway shortly. The safety car has pulled off into the distance. And now Mad will take responsibility of the lead of this race, and he's gone, so is his teammate. Madwell from Afro at the start of this race, cleanly into turn 1, no drama. Then there's a McLaren, that's Andre P3. Fricky tries to get up the inside on the McLaren, decides against it. Andre holds his line, P3, P4, then Ultra Gamer in P5. He went in and got a set of medium tyres. Wonder if he just ran out of softs in this race. Had to go for the medium compound. He's going to be at a slight disadvantage. Everyone around him on a set of softs. They should have superior pace. And also remember, no tyre management needed, just 6 laps to go. further back in the field. The one and only Ferrari on track, that's Ivan. He had a fantastic start to the race. He was up to P3 at a stage. Then went all the way to the back. Looked like all hope was lost. But that is not the case. He's back up into P7. And that's how quickly things can switch around. The one disadvantage for him is those hards he's on. 7 laps old and he's surrounded by everyone on softs. Look at this at the front. Red Bull not having it all their own way. Fricky keeping the pressure on. Red Bull versus Mercedes-Benz. How many times have you seen this before? And now the Red Bulls want to be careful. They don't want to run into each other. After dominating qualifying and for dominating much of this race, the last thing you want is to come under pressure and end up running into each other. Some intelligent racing needed between the teammates to get to the end of this race. Madwell leads from Afro. Fricky still in P3, but he's coming under pressure of his own. There's a McLaren, that's Andre, P4. We saw domination from the Red Bulls, but with 5 laps to go, P1 is still up for grabs. The Red Bulls now, whatever happened there, they just obviously got out of shape, but now they've got their heads down again, got focused again, and they're now 1.5 seconds up the road from the Mercedes, so they've broken that crucial DRS. Speaking of DRS zones, Fricky's in P3, but he's going to have to do one heck of a job to hold on to P3. Got a lot of hungry drivers behind him. When the safety car did come in, there were 6 laps remaining, so we will still get a few laps at the end of the race with the use of DRS. Obviously, we're just waiting for DRS to reactivate after its mandatory downtime after a safety car. There we go. Andre gets past the Mercedes-Benz. We have a Red Bull, McLaren. McLaren, they've done fantastically this season. Started off really badly. Came back so strong. And then in Las Vegas, I'm sure they were scratching their heads. Andre took over P3 from Fricky. Now he's going to have a go at trying to catch those Red Bulls. But the gap was 1.8 seconds. Now it's 2.1 seconds. So the Red Bulls are doing enough. Now the Haas. Ultra Gamer going up the inside. And Fricky loses out yet again. Fricky down to P5. Andre P3. And he's going to be coming under some serious pressure from a horse on a mission. Just to go back to Apmagozi, let's see if that car has rejoined. No, it hasn't. AlphaTauri ghosting at the back of the field. Disappointing to see. On the other side of the Red Bull spectrum, there's these two. P1, P2. Looks pretty sealed unless they run into each other. Andre doing the best he can, but that gap 2.5 seconds. And he's not able to really concentrate on those 2 Red Bulls in front of him because he's got a DRS train behind him. So he'll be watching his mirrors. Half his concentration will be on catching the Red Bulls, but the other half will be on what's going on behind him. And he really needs to be giving it everything if he's going to have any hope of catching those 2 dominant cars ahead of him. Just before we have any conspiracy theories, no, the Red Bull performance does not translate to the game. We are definitely running equal cars. Even though it appears those Red Bulls are in a different league. But we definitely are in equal cars. Otherwise we wouldn't have a Haas up in P3. What a result this would have been for Haas. Put either K-Mag or Hulkenberg on the podium at one of the US Grand Prix. Guthrie Steiner and Gene Haas would be dancing under the fountains at the Bellagio. Ultra Gamer still under pressure. Looks like he has P3 pretty comfortably, but that can change very quickly. Just the slightest mistake in the closing stages, you start to get close to the end of the race. Concentration starts to slip. And now the McLaren. Ooh, that McLaren, that was Andre. We didn't see it, but looked like Andre was going for the pass on the outside. Don't know how he intended to make the corner, but ran himself very wide, missed his braking point, and that will cost him McLaren down to P7. And Ultra Gamer can breathe a sigh of relief. Still has Top Gun behind him, but he does have a little bit of a cushion now. Lap 24 of 25. Crucially, the Aston Martin still within DRS of the Haas. So we're still up for a Aston Martin podium. It's still on the cards. We have Divan. He's in P8. He's defending from Dixie Killer and Visor in P10. Ulrich looked to be in a strong position potentially for the race victory a little earlier on. Safety car came out and messed those plans up a little, and that allowed these two to simply stamp their authority on the race. They had done so already in qualifying. They had led the majority of the race, and then just after that first safety car, you thought maybe, just maybe, somebody else had got it right on the tyres and they'd be able to come back at these Red Bulls in the closing stages. But that is not the situation we got. We got a second safety car. Red Bulls were able to come in, get a fresh set of softs. They made no hard work of getting to the front. And after a little bit of a hiccup, they got their heads down. And they got back into the positions we expected them to finish. As for Top Gun, the Aston Martin has gotten up into P3. Was that a glitch? The Aston Martin just went yellow on my screen. Top Gun up into P3, followed by the two Haas drivers who are still doing what they can. They want to get a podium position so bad. We might see a bit of desperation here on the final lap. This is when mistakes do happen, especially when you know that position in front of you is the final step of the podium. Podium just means so much more than fourth place, and sometimes you just lose your head. But Ultra Gamer does retake the position. And I wonder if Top Gun's going to have enough to come back at him. Hopefully we don't have a mess here at the end. 4 cars, 2 Haas, 2 Aston Martins. One of those Aston Martins has met a concrete wall, and that is a very broken wing. Luckily we're on the final lap. We won't see a safety car. After a frantic end, Red Bulls come over the line in P1 and P2. Ultra Gamer will come over the line in P3 and he'll be breathing a sigh of relief because that was madness in the closing laps. Andre will be wondering how he got back into P4. And then the two Aston Martins, they won't be too pleased. P5, P6, Dixie Killer P7, Mr. Rem P8, Ulrich P9, and Divan in 10th place. We wait for the remainder of the field. That's Chums. It's just going to come over the line now. That'll be P14. Next over the line, we have Venom. And that is the final car over the line. As I believe Louis and Apmagozi were ghosting at the end. Driver of the day goes to Mr. M. And it could have been even better if it wasn't for the eventful end to the race. And there we go, folks. There are your final and official results for SKR Season 5, Round 7 here in Las Vegas. Madwell finished P1, Afro P2. Fantastic job from them. That's the order they started in, first and second. Then Ultra Gamer, he did a good job. Came up from P5 to finish third. Andre fourth. Top Gun P5. Then Pantry Star P6. Dixie Killer P7. Mr. M P8. Ulrich P9. And Divan making up the top 10. On the other side, Visor P11. Virus P12. Fricky 13. Chums 14. Venom 15. And I believe that was the last of your runners. Louis 16, Apmagozi 17, and your 3 retirements, Harsh Cartoon, Revolution, and Disguised. Folks, that has been round 5. Should I say season 5? Round 7. And I want to thank everybody who joined us, and I ask that you join us again next week Sunday for round 8, season 5, SKR. See you then. Cheers, guys.